the Nerd Show. Podcast Radio. She's a nerd, he's a nerd, talking about what we know. Nerd Podcast Radio. We're all nerds, we're all nerds. Buckle up, cause here we go. Nerd Podcast Radio. Welcome everybody to the Nerd Podcast Radio. Welcome everybody to the Nerd Podcast Radio.
Welcome to Nerd Podcast Radio, your nerd home away from home.
Welcome to Nerd Podcast Radio. I'm your host, Super Vegan Brian. I'm joined by David D. About the third.
Hi, everybody.
Courtesy Smurferica.
Right. Why does David always get to be second?
Because I'm here more often.
It's more because I'm like, the thing that sticks in my mind is
alphabet.
If I'm going to do some kind of enthusiastic intro or joke, so it tends to be the thing that's most in the forefront of my mind. Like, am I going to do like David the and let him talk and then say the third, or am I going to be like David the other host of the podcast, or am I going to David the?
So what he's trying to say is he thinks about me more.
Yeah, I practice those on the way home from work. I'm not even joking. That's not a
I had no idea you put that much effort into it. Wow, I'm flattered.
Oh, you know what? Brian didn't have to say it. I was like, yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
Speaking of long, distracting segues, Stolas.
Hi, I was so proud of my baby the whole time we were doing the sound check. We had to be quiet. The baby was quiet. I was shocked.
Wow.
She's with us.
Children of podcasters. And we have a shared mic on the podcast. We don't do this very often, so there might be some audio issues, but Stolas' partner Grymm is here. Hi.
Hi, it's me, Grymm.
And you've popped in before, but this is like your first, like, I want to be on the episode.
Yeah.
Welcome.
How did you convince Stolas? Was there twisting of arms, or
They beat me.
okay?
No, I
Just
literally
as long as
was
there
like,
was violence.
should I ask? And I was like, no, it's too much. Don't ask. And they're like, I'm asking.
I mean, as long as you got a safe word, you do you.
I'm okay with Stolas saying Grymm's gonna be on this one. I mean, Erica will just be like, my daughter is on the show instead of me today. I can't handle her. You guys watch her.
I'm just like, I can't today. Husband, kid, who wants to be on? All right, great. Not because I don't love it. I do. I really do look forward to like recording and hanging out and chatting with you guys because we always have so much fun. But some days it's just like, fuck, man. Like I got nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
I do need to say, I feel like that too. Most episodes. And then I look into all your eyes and I still feel that way. And then shove it deep down and fake it and just put all my enthusiasm into one ball of focus.
Oh,
And-
you just got to do the
You know why you do that, Brian? Because you're an adult.
You're an adult.
you just got to do the stand-up
That's
comedian
what we
special.
do.
You know, a couple of bumps real quick, and you're good to go. Oh yeah.
So Grymm, tell us about yourself.
I'm non-binary. My pronouns are they, them. And I'm just an awkward little bean who loves horror things.
They married me. That's a neat fact.
I mean, it's definitely scary.
Yeah.
I
Terrible.
mean, we literally wore Halloween costumes for our marriage.
I know. I was there. It was my nerdy thing.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Did you forget David was at your wedding?
Well, I
No,
was
I
late.
forgot that it
so...
was. No, I forgot that it was David Nerdy thing.
It is. I'm surprised because I don't really remember mine that well.
Oh, I do. I argued with so many people. It was great.
I remember that you were there because you were in the wedding party, but it was quite a blur. I mean, it was a stressful day.
Oh man, I remember I argued with your wedding coordinator so much. Like I was just like, no, we're not doing it that way. You're done. You can just walk away.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely. Like she was on my fucking nerves. And I was like, nah, I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter. I am now in charge of this scenario. You can leave.
To be fair, our wedding was just the court thing. We still haven't done like a ceremony thing. So we'll probably do that in the future, and like you guys will totally be invited.
I still have offered to officiate. Because I can.
Let me just preface, not that his coordinator didn't do a good job.
Sounds like they didn't.
Like, Erica just had like the realization that like, oh, this is a friend of Brian's family. He might listen to this. She might listen to this episode.
Don't fucking care. Oh, no. I have to give credit where credit's due. Like, she did, like, the tables looked nice, things were where they need to be, and that was great. But she was
Everything
trying,
else was absolute shit.
yeah, she was trying to tell this little girl that she was part of the wedding party, but she couldn't sit at the wedding party table. And so the little girl was crying and was upset. And I asked Heather, and I was like, Heather, like, do you want her up here? And she's like, yes, of course. So I went and got the little girl and pulled her up to the table with everybody. And then the wedding coordinator came over and tried to send her back. And I was like, bitch, back off. Go do your
Oh,
own.
I remember that. That was such drama.
Yeah. Nobody's going to do that to a kid, especially because Heather was like, what's happening? And I was like, don't fuck with the bride.
Erica,
Sorry.
if there's ever someone I want in my corner in an argument, it's you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Please say that I'm their personal lawyer, because every time, I mean, I'm their mom, but also every time like they need to argue something, they go, you should call my mom. You would argue with my mom.
Mom, I need you to yell at this person.
Yep.
when Erica and I have been in like the same, like lived in the same area, I've done the, hey, can you be mean? But you've also asked me to be mean before, which is interesting.
Yeah, because sometimes, and I hate to say it, but it's super true, my stature of only being 5'2", and the fact that I'm a woman, it doesn't matter how loud or how, like, vicious I am, because I can be vicious. It's not getting through. It's just like, oh, sit down. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. There's just like a whole sexist piece to it. So that's when I go, hey, Brian, do the thing.
You all might not know, but I used to have a real big problem with giving service people at restaurants attitudes. I've gotten much better.
About you. I did not know that about you, actually.
When I first became a vegetarian and when I first became celiac, I was that person. I was the person who had a real attitude about it and wasn't understanding at all. And I mean, I grew out of it. I like figured it out. I figured out that I was being a jerk. But yeah, I did that. If you're having trouble picturing it, I threw a sandwich at a kitchen.
Wow.
Oh,
I can't actually picture you doing that. Knowing you as long as I have, I don't think I can actually picture you doing that.
Well, I can give you an idea. So this was pre-gluten-free. I'd ordered this gyro sandwich without the meat, and I said, hey, can I have extra vegetables? And the way they normally make the gyro is they do the meat, they do onions and peppers.
I've heard this story before.
Oh, you've heard this story. So they give me a tortilla, not a tortilla, they give me a flatbread.
The pita.
Filled with shredded lettuce and 3 little tomatoes on the top. No onions and tomatoes or peppers. No onions and peppers.
Mm.
And I went, what is this? I can't eat this. And they said, well, you asked for extra vegetables. And I went, but what about the onions and peppers that normally have? Well, it's like, well, that's what you get when you don't get the meat. And I looked past the server and I looked at the kitchen and they were laughing their asses off.
Mm.
And I went, okay, where? And just hucked it. And
Wow.
I went, screw all you people. And I left.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
they definitely deserved it.
The fact that you guys have not seen that side of Brian is pretty. I mean, he's so much. I have to say, Brian, you're so much better. But there was a time where Brian could be like super fucking scary and vicious.
There was, my mom and I went to a restaurant and they gave us garden burgers and I'd taken a bite and they're gluten-y. They got wheat gluten in them. And I'd ask and they were like, oh, they're gluten-free. I swear, we could special order, they're gluten-free. And they brought it to the table and I took a bite and I go, this is a garden burger. And they weren't garden burgers on the menu. I go, I know what a garden burger tastes like. These are full of wheat gluten. I can't have this. I'm going to get sick. And it goes, no, they're gluten-free. I swear, we special order. And I said, can you please go get the package? And she's making all of these excuses. And she goes, can I please go get the package? And she goes and gets a package and it's a package of garden burgers. And I went, how could you make this mistake? It's not our fault. We special order everything. It's supposed to be gluten-free. You didn't check your packaging. This contains wheat gluten. This is your fault.
Wow.
And I was talking to the manager, and she's like, "No, it's not our fault. We special order everything." And I said, "Screw this amount." And I was holding my plate at the time, and I chucked it, not thinking, and it exploded.
Oh God.
And my mom and I left that restaurant so fast.
Yeah. Wow. It's a
But
side
yeah.
of you. A side of you I never saw before, Brian.
I did not huck a plate to break it. I hucked the plate like I was just like, I'm done. I did not expect that to
You're like
happen.
trying to, yeah, we're trying to like toss it on the table angrily.
Yeah.
Not like body slamming.
Well,
It would
listeners, if you couldn't
never
tell,
be
we
allowed
don't really
to
have a
throw
topic today.
anything because when he throws pillows, it cuts people. That's all I'm saying.
I'll
That's
tell
ju-
that.
that's just
Yeah,
those
well,
nice, sharp,
that's actually
starchy
good that
pieces.
you brought that up because it's Friday the 13th on the day of this recording. So Keisha, one of our patrons, suggested we talk about luck, we can tell stories, and have kind of a kickback episode. Grymm was really interested when they heard that Friday the 13th was our topic, so we're going to talk about that. But first,
We're going to play everybody's favorite game, What's Nerdy with You, where we all talk about the nerdiest thing we've done in the last 2 weeks, and we vote using the Patent Mike Myler widget system, except this time it's the last 4 weeks because we skipped an episode.
so we have
You weren't supposed to mention it.
Too late.
Damn it.
5
Six
You're the
widgets.
only person that says last 2 weeks. We always say last few weeks when we do it because it's uncertain how many weeks.
Well, I mean, that's what's on the recording. So,
So should Grim go first?
sure. Yes.
Grymm has to go first.
Yep.
All right, so my nerdy thing is I have a bunch of like colored like expo markers and stuff. And so I literally asked my manager at work today because we have this board in the back that I update every day with like the numbers and stuff.
They work for a hotel.
Yeah. And so I was like, hey, so out of curiosity, would you mind if I like erased everything and did the whole board over with my really nice markers that I have at home? And she was like, absolutely, go right ahead. And I immediately got super excited and was like, I cannot wait to redo the board at work.
Yeah, Grim came
Nice.
home so excited. Like they looked like a 5-year-old kid that was given a bag of candy. I'm like, what happened? They're like, I get to organize at work. I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
And we now know Grimm's kink. That is excellent.
One
told
of
Grim-
them.
I told Grim, I was like, you would make like the perfect secretary or the perfect like assistant. You genuinely enjoy doing this organizational shit.
And from Stolas and Grymm, I'm going to go with they do or she does not enjoy.
There's organization in my pile. I know where everything is in my pile.
I was gonna say, are there people who don't like to organize? I thought that was like
Yes.
what
there
you
are.
do to like relax.
No.
Like if I'm really stressed, cleaning the garage always makes me feel better.
Oh, God.
You can't see it because I don't have a camera, but next to my computer is just a pile of paperwork. And they're all very important pieces of paper. And these are legal documents, these are medical documents just in a pile.
I'm going
It's
to
called
try
the filing cabinet.
I'm going to try something, but I don't do this very often. I'm going to grab my camera and just point it at the empty desk.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. There's a reason I have a virtual background, okay? Leave me alone.
Oh, I should be getting paid money soon, so I should actually be able to buy a camera kind of soonish.
That'll be awesome. I do not enjoy organizing, but I am actually very good at it. So it's like
Yeah, I mean, I can do it when I have to, but I'm not a fan.
I just don't like taking the time to do it. But I don't really have like an option because I'm the only person in my house that does not have ADHD.
I have piles. I know where stuff is. If you need something, ask me. I'll get it for you.
Exactly.
See, my own things aren't very organized, like my clothes and stuff like that. But like my professional space, I like to be very organized.
Yeah, my clothes are extremely organized. I have a drawer for my casual pants.
Wait, you put clothes in your drawers?
It's like we
And
have
then
we have a clean basket, dirty basket system.
You guys use baskets?
No. As soon as something comes out of the dryer, it is on a hanger, a nice velvet hanger, so it doesn't get like creases
Wow.
in it. Shouldn't. And then in my closet, it's like one side is like, here are my jackets, here are my nice dresses, my casual t-shirts, and then on this side is like my tank tops, my nice work shirts, my nice work pants, my nice work like skirts and stuff, and everything is perfectly like in order and hung up.
I have them in the cabinet by color.
See, I like to organize by like event. So I know
Yeah.
if it's a fancy event, I go to my fancies. And if it's a casual event, I go to my casual section.
Okay, I can top this. Not me, but my grandpa. My grandpa only owns 2 types of pants and only owns 2 types of shirts. And he has them organized by the day that he wears those specific pants and shirts. So he's like, these shirts are my Monday, Wednesday, Friday shirts. These shirts are my Tuesday, Thursday, blah, blah, blah.
So I have a pile of clean laundry that goes from my bed to the chair I'm sitting in currently, depending on which I'm going to be using. And then I've got a pile of dirty stuff over there.
Erica and I have a mutual friend. I don't know if he still does this, but he had the same outfit over and over and over and over.
Oh, he's a cartoon character. Okay.
No, he was very like there's practical and then there's very overly practical. And his overly practicalness was if my pants are black and my shirts are black and my shoes are black and my socks are black, then everything always matches. And if I have, he would wear like black turtlenecks and black t-shirts and black button-ups. And like, that was it. It was just always like all black and everything always matched. It didn't matter. He was just always in black. And no, not anymore. Not anymore. Professionally, he had to adjust his wardrobe because of his new career. But yes, for like 15 years, that was it.
Yeah, we're talking about like in our 20s friends, so it's like different lives.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd come in my room and pass out.
I don't even go into Lee's room because his room is it gives me anxiety.
Lee is my spirit animal. Okay.
I legitimately like get angry if I step on something that's on the floor.
I think Grymm wins the award for most tangent creating nerdy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has gone on forever.
Speaking of Stolas, what's your nerdy thing?
No, David,
No?
I changed the order because of Erica bitching earlier.
Oh, okay.
No, Grymm could just have mine. It's fine.
Who's next? Is it me?
No, it's David.
Oh, I'm not looking at it. You never shared an outline, so I'm not looking at anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's Grymm, David, Stolas, Brian, Erica. Erica gets to go last because she bitched about not going first earlier, so I know she likes last in What's Nerdy With You.
So you say. Okay, fine. Let's see. What is nerdy with me? I bought some new war paints because I took my old war paints to a friend's house. And I never saw them again. So I bought someone was having a holiday sale. So I bought a brand new set of Army Painter, one of those big sets. It came with it came with a stand and everything. It's kind of nice. So I've got like, 50, and then I got another 24 from my Reaper haul that came through. So.
Army Painter ones? The new Army Painter?
Yeah, I bought the Fanatic Mega set.
Fuck yeah, I want that so bad.
Yeah, I bought it. It showed up like less than 3 days later.
Oh yeah, I want that so fucking bad.
Yeah, and the paint stand it came with is actually very nice.
Yeah, I also want to get the grimdark like villainy inks. I want to get those.
Well, because when I bought my Reaper Bones set that came out not too long ago, I finally got from the Kickstarter that was going forever. It had 12 pots of Reaper paint in it as well that came with the Kickstarter. So now I got a bunch of war paints again. I can actually get back into it.
Yay!
I am so excited for you.
And damn you, virtual background! I bought a new can of primer.
I'm very excited for you.
It's so good that it blends into the background.
Right? I mean, to be fair, it is white, so.
I mean, primer is a blending compound, right? I broke
Something like that, yes.
I said, "Oh my god."
Speaking of, oh my god, Stolas, you're up.
It's crazy. Okay. Oh, I know a crazy nerd thing I did. I made some like Facebook posts. I know that sounds weird, but let me explain why this is nerdy. I basically made a post where I gathered a bunch of information in Baldur's Gate 3. Thank you, Nick. This is my daughter. She's telling the story for me, I guess. So what I did is I grabbed like lore bits in parts of Baldur's Gate 3 to kind of put together to tell different little plotline stories that are in Baldur's Gate 3 that aren't expressly told to you through the gameplay. So I don't know if you've played, but like there's a specific area, there's this destroyed town in the very beginning of Baldur's Gate 3. And if you go into this particular like alchemy shop and you go to the bottom of it, you discover that the person running the alchemy shop is a necromancer who escaped from
The
Fae.
Wizard of Thay, yeah.
Yeah, with a book of necromancy, and he was experimenting on the people of the village, and he was trying to resurrect a woman, which we assume is his wife, and yeah. So I did like
that
a
one.
whole
I did that storyline.
Great answer for all that. Owlbear from the top rope.
And then I also did the story about the spider monarch or the spider matriarch. And then I'm probably gonna the next one I'm gonna be looking at the Selûnite like outpost at the bottom of the Underdark. So I feel like there's a neat story going on there.
You know what's funny is the Spider Matriarch story is actually a sequel to the Spider Matriarch story from Baldur's Gate.
I never played the original. That's okay. I didn't know that.
It's one of those like because Baldur's Gate was one of those travel around the map and have random encounters things.
Yeah.
And the spider one was one that could happen, and it was a crazy story arc. But I mean, it was mostly you get dropped into a map and you have to deal with a bunch of ettercaps and spiders.
That's so cool that they like did like an Easter basically like an Easter egg of that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of connections because there's characters from Baldur's Gate that show up in Baldur's Gate 3.
Ooh, speaking of Baldur's Gate Easter eggs, okay, so the CEO of the company had said recently that in a DOA 2 Divinity Original Sin 2, the game before that they did before BG3, they had left clues in the game that they were going to be working on Baldur's Gate 3 net. And apparently, Baldur's Gate 3, they said that they've left clues behind in Baldur's Gate 3 that tells people what their next game's going to be. And they were like, and Sven was like, and nobody's like found them yet.
Yeah, the next game is going to be Explosive Barrels.
Yeah, they'll finally make the Barrelmancy class.
Oh, it's an owlbear with a steel chair.
Yeah, the name
Oh.
of the game is just Barrelmancer.
It's just Barrelmancer Mozo B class.
They already made Barrelmancer, though. It was called Donkey Kong.
Boo.
Hey, I legitimately had Karlach always have at least 2 explosive barrels on her at all times.
Yeah.
Legitimately. I'd be like, oh, I gotta clear this shit. Throw that. And just,
Throw a bomb! Yeah, that's a great idea. Just walk around with bombs all the time.
that's what I did. It was like, why? She can carry it. It's fine. It's
She's so
I-
strong.
I did the go into the room, do the turn into an animal and sneak into the room and then place a bunch of explosive barrels and then leave and then blow them up.
Legitimate strategy.
The
Works
explosions in that
works
game
in
are so
D&D too.
freaking violent, but it's even better when you do it from a side room when you just hear screams.
Yeah.
Let the fire die down, walk
Yeah.
into the room, collect the loot, and leave.
I think I basically ended the Zentarum storyline because it just killed everybody with
The
bombs.
barrels?
Yeah.
They literally leave barrels and oil all over the place. They're just
Yeah.
asking you to blow them up. I
Yeah.
don't, but who's
Yeah.
next?
Killed the Drow Paladin with them too.
Brian's next.
Is it Brian? Brian, what did you
I'm
do?
next. I have a few things going on. So I learned about a laptop company called Framework that makes modular laptops because I helped a friend buy one and I got to have the coolest fun. So friend called and I have people call me about laptop stuff or computer stuff all the time and they're like, can you help me buy a computer? And I have like my list of questions and the first question is always, okay, what's your budget? And the answer is always, I don't really know. And it's so I always respond to that by saying, okay, $2,000. And I got to have the most fun because I said, okay, $2,000. And they said, well, we can go higher than that. And I went, okay.
Oh,
Let's
that's so
have some
fun.
fun.
I was like,
Mhm.
dude, I was like, ooh, I'm getting excited.
2,650 bucks. It was I'd have to really dig through config, but it was all AMD Ryzen and Radeon stuff. But I mean, it was
Mhm.
decent. I like it for what it is. The framework makes modular laptops, so it's like getting a PC tower but a laptop frame.
Okay. See, I do
So
AMD.
all the parts are like pick and switch, and like you can get different graphics modules and you can upgrade them, and
Wait, you mean you
that
don't
new laptop company?
you don't solder the RAM chips onto the motherboard?
now everything is all plug and play, like, and it opens up really easy. You don't have to like peel the keyboard off.
Isn't that the company that Linus from Linus Tech Tips was investing in?
I don't know, I just heard about them for the first time.
What say the name again?
Framework.
Framework? I think it is.
Yeah, the my favorite thing about it was when you go through their like configuration page, it's like how many ports do you want? And I'm like, you can just decide how many USB ports you want. Like you
All the
can
ports.
you can do different colors, and they have all these different, like, you could do all the different like flair that gamers like. It was so funny because I was like, okay, skip RGB, and my friend is like, what's that? And I was like, light up keyboard. I like light up keyboard. I'm like, why?
French.
Yeah, it's what I thought it was. Yeah, it's the company that
French.
Linus from Linus Tech Tips invested in. So yeah, I had heard about him like probably a couple years ago because he had gotten one of the first like beta projects of theirs when they were reviewing it, and they were kind of giving them feedback as to what they think they should do with the laptop.
My
Yeah,
my
they look so
vetting
cool. They're
my
so interesting.
vetting process for framework was just go on Consumer Reports, type in framework, go, oh, they like them. Yeah, this is fine.
I don't know. I don't like laptops that much, so
I've changed a lot. I've gotten more into the laptop thing.
but I don't use any of that stuff for work or anything, so I don't
Yeah.
need a laptop. The laptops I do have, I use for pretty much primarily PDF viewing. So yeah, I don't really give two shits about my laptop really, as long as it
Um,
works.
As someone who has used a laptop for the last couple years, I'm really missing having like a
Right?
We're making them a new PC when we have the money. I'm gonna build them a PC so they can finally have something like better.
and then the other thing I did is I participated in a Jackbox game thing on Discord. It was fun.
Ooh, how many players?
Like 8 or 9.
Nice. Jackbox is
Yeah.
fun. My
The-
WoW
We should
guild
do
does
Jackbox
Jackbox
one of
nights
these
every now and
days.
then.
We should do a Jackbox episode one of these days.
Does anybody have it?
I do.
Cool.
Maybe not on the podcast, but it's definitely something we could do
I don't
as
mind
a
doing it on
Discord.
the
All right, fine.
podcast.
Fuck it. We'll do it on the podcast.
I've been wanting to do a completely the format out the window episode again. We haven't done one since the failed Fate Core game.
Yeah.
I really want to
Yeah.
listen to that episode again. One of these days I'll just listen to it and be like, I've done the prep.
I think I still have my character sheet around here somewhere.
Erica wants to do Bears in Space too.
Bears in space.
Electric Boogaloo.
Erica, you're up.
Okay, so I have two things. The first one is I was on a Christmas party Zoom where we were doing Christmas movie trivia, and I won the argument that Lord of the Rings is actually a Christmas movie. So that
Yeah.
was fun.
What?
Yeah, they leave Rivendell on December 25th.
Yep.
Why is it? Because what? Who did what, when, where?
The Fellowship of the Ring leave Rivendell on December the 25th by the Shire Reckoning.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
They
Okay.
celebrate Yule on the way to the Gap of Rohan.
Jesus, you guys
Hi, I'm a nerd. Nice to meet you.
nerds.
And then the second thing is I have decided to get more into my Sicilian roots and really learn how to cook like a true Italian.
I thought you were gonna say you were joining the mob. Okay.
Oh, are you gonna start making a bunch of shit with offal?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I just heard it. But today I went and made authentic Italian Christmas cookies.
You've just been holding those on standby, ready to show them off this entire
Yup.
time.
This whole time. Look at those. Look at those delicious from scratch Italian Christmas cookies.
Those
do
look like
absolutely
something
familiar.
I've seen in Italian bakeries before.
Those look familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
She uses them to make offers you can't refuse.
All right, I got a challenge for you, Erica, and if you accept this challenge, you will get more widgets from me during
Mail
voting.
him one.
Well, they're not gluten free. I can't have those. But my challenge, I can't remember what it's called, but there's this Italian Christmas tradition, and they're like sticky cookies, and they're in a big shape like a Christmas tree, and you pop them off. If you can find that recipe and make it and show it off on the podcast, or just say, I'll think about it or I'll look into it, I'll give you widgets today.
Oh, I'll definitely look into it. That sounds fun.
Yeah, so they're basically in the holidays. You'll go to like a family party or something, and they'll have this like cone on the snack table with all these like sticky gooey things, and you peel the sticky gooey cookie thing off.
I mean, I'm down. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I'm excited. But yeah, the reason why. So okay, so I made.
Oh, you're talking about Strafoli honey balls?
Yeah,
Dough
Strafoli.
balls
Thank you.
that are covered
Thank
in
you.
honey and sprinkles, served in
Yeah.
a mound.
Yeah,
That sounds yummy.
Strafoli.
Yay, Google.
I like honey balls.
I mean, who doesn't?
Now
Sticky honey
the
balls.
reason, so I'm gonna get, so since I made an inside comment with Erica, I want to tell everybody. So I grew up with traditional Sicilian food. Erica didn't. So I said, are you going to start cooking with a bunch of offal? Because my Sicilian grandparents lived through the Depression, so there was all sorts of organs at the table, and it was like,
you can't eat too many organ meats, so that's how you get gout.
yes, but
There's a reason why it's called awful.
I grew up with I'll spare everyone's ears from like the list of stuff because it sounds gross. I'll just give one item, goat lungs, just
Okay.
because.
Prepared right, I'm
the-
sure they're delicious.
I think it was the only thing I didn't like.
You know what I find really weird? Everyone gets grossed out when you talk about eating like organ meat, but nobody gets grossed out by ham. And it's like, that's literally a pig's ass.
Isn't it?
It's because it's delicious.
Isn't it more like near the back?
No.
It's like
It's literally
the
the
butt.
cheeks of the ass, the meat underneath all the fat.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Canadian bacon,
yeah.
which is back bacon.
Yep.
Yeah, so like it's like people are like, ugh, I don't want to eat cow intestines, but I'll eat that pig's ass.
Yet they'll happily eat hot dogs.
Yeah, I know, right?
Or Slim Jims.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Grymm so hard right now.
One of my favorite lines from a TV show ever was from it was a children's cartoon, Adventure Time. No, not Adventure Time. Steven Universe. And his dad looks at his son and goes, look, son, if every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs.
I don't want my compliment to get lost in the joking as it usually does. So I'm just gonna flat out say, Erica, those look really good. I think you did a great job. I literally they look like what I've seen in bakeries back in New York.
Oh, well,
Those are
thank you.
cute cookies. They look delicious.
Enjoy them.
I'm very excited about learning how to cook like a Sicilian. So, what did I say the other day, Brian? You were like, I pronounced it right or something like that. You're like, I channeled my inner Sicilian ancestors or
I
something.
wish I could remember you, but you did. You said so. You sounded like one of my cousins.
I mean, you don't talk with your hands enough. You can't be that Italian.
I very much talk with my hands a lot. Right now, I'm not because they're under a blanket. It's like really, really cold. It's like 20 degrees outside. And I'll tell you, 69 degrees inside the house does not feel nearly as warm as it should when it's 20 degrees outside.
Nice.
I really want to make carbonara soon. I was trying to find pancetta, but I couldn't find any. But I really want to make carbonara. I know Sicilian isn't Italian, but they're close.
There's some overlap.
After I was super nice with Erica, I do have to tell her that I really, really like her sweater. How did you get the self-portrait on there?
So what it is fuck you.
If you'd like to see Erica's sweater, go to patreon.com/nerdpodcastradio and you can get access to our video feeds.
Yes, or the cookies.
Or the cookies.
Yeah, it's like embroidered with a little picture of Erica when she was a baby.
You.
Oh, I mean, I'm also wearing a Star Wars Mando shirt, so it is thematically appropriate.
For people who are listening and and are trying to figure out why I was so mean, it's Baby Yoda or Grogu.
He has a name, and
I said Grogu.
Yeah, after you said the wrong name first.
You're perfectly allowed to say Baby Yoda. It's fine.
Yeah, if you want to be wrong.
Oh, this is fantastic. Excellent. All right, we're supposed to vote now.
Oh, yes. Grim, you get you get 6 widgets. Who would you like to vote for?
You're allowed to vote for yourself, but we'll judge you.
I mean, we're going to do that anyways, but that's beside the point.
I'm not going to judge if you do it. I think that the fact that you started us all talking about what you did.
I want everyone to have one,
Aw.
except myself, and I want to give an additional one to
So that leaves one.
Erica for the
No, 2.
whatever the thing is that.
The cookies.
Yeah.
Cookies.
Who is it going to go to?
Everyone gets one. Erica gets an extra for the cookies.
There's one additional she hasn't, or
you
they
get one
haven't.
more. You get 2 extras.
Okay, I want both the extras to go to Erica then.
Okay.
There are 5 of us, Brian, not 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
And as Mike Myler's rules state,
No,
it's number of guests plus 1.
I said it and then I hit a hotkey and deafened everybody so I couldn't hear what everybody was saying.
No, okay.
David.
Oh, right. I'm going to give 3 of my widgets to Erica because she scares me, and I want to stay good on the terms of the Sicilian Mafia. I'm then going to give Grymm 2 widgets because they're awesome, and I'm going to give my remaining widget to Brian because he looks like he needs a boost today.
Thank you. Stolas.
I will give everyone 1 except for me, and then I'll give my extra 2 to Grymm. So I'll do the opposite of what Grymm did for Erica, but for
Aww.
To be fair, she is within striking distance of Grymm, I assume. So
no. I just think what Grymm did was super fucking nerdy as shit.
I literally
Agreed.
was like favoritism.
I am going, I got 6. I'm going to give 4 to Grymm and 2 to Erica.
ooh, making a contest out of it.
Oh, I don't want to fight with Grymm over widgets.
Then give them all to her or them.
Well, yeah, but then other people wouldn't get widgets.
When
Yeah,
has that ever mattered?
We've gotten to the point that if we don't get widgets, we're going to die.
I've got so many of the damn things. I can't wait to get rid of them.
Wait, who won then? I'm confused.
We're not done
Well,
yet.
I haven't voted yet. You gotta calm down.
Erica's having a crisis.
Crises.
It's similar
I'm
to when
gonna
you
get-
sit in a chair and your feet don't touch
Vote
the
with
ground.
your heart. Vote with your
Oh my God, Brian.
Okay, I have to say, I do think it's very nerdy and very cool and very artistic that Grymm was like, I'm going to bring my personal expo markers to work and do something artistic. So I love that. So I'm going to have to give Grymm 3 widgets. And then I'm going to also give, I'm going to give 2 to Brian and 1 to Stolas. I'm sorry, David, you said you didn't want any more widgets, so you
Where do you think they come from? I don't go into that closet anymore. I don't want to know what happens in there.
I honestly think that anytime, no, that's a gross joke. I will save that to the bonus episode.
Speaking of bonus episode, wow, guys, we are
So
completely
who won, Brian?
missed the topic.
Wait, there's a topic?
We'll talk about the topic in the bonus episode.
It's only 7 o'clock. We have an hour. We're good.
Who won, Brian?
Grymm.
Yay! All right, Grymm. They're going to arrive. Stolas knows how this works.
Grymm would like to thank God with God all things are possible.
For me.
Yeah,
Stolas.
unfortunately, these widgets are atheists. You need to cut that shit out right now.
No,
I was gonna say I'd like to thank my wife, but I'll take that back now.
So the widgets are now going into the quantum tunnel into Stolas's body. They will start to gestate now.
Stolas, you still have that lead-lined box, right?
In 9 months, you will get your widgets.
Wow.
Grymm is saying that's where my boobs are coming from, is all the widgets. That's where they are.
They're not wrong.
They're becoming boobs.
That might be the best joke I've heard in a very long time on this show.
Very good trans joke.
So it's Friday the 13th. Just go nuts. Talk about whatever you want. I don't care. It's been a tough week. I want it to be. Keith
I'm honestly surprised you're
Friday 13th.
I'm honestly surprised you're not drinking, Brian.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I feel so much better. It's good. I just like hanging out with you guys. It's the It's the thing I get paid for at work. It was a tough week. It wasn't a bad week. It was just work. But blah, blah, blah. Let's fix that. All right, brain fixed. Friday the 13th. I'm gonna start this by telling a story. Grim hasn't heard this. I think everybody else has.
Okay, but when you're done, we have the best Friday the 13th story, I promise.
We will go around the table and tell Friday the 13th stories if anybody else has them. So I was in high school. I think it was my no, it was my sophomore year. In my sophomore year in high school, I was in a world history class, and I literally had the situation happen where that we all have anxiety dreams about. I didn't know there was a test, and I showed up to class, and there was a test, and somehow I managed to not know. But now I have to flash back to that morning. So I wake up that morning, and my mom literally wakes me up and goes, Brian, what's the Fear of Friday the 13th called? And I go, I don't know. Why? Well, I learned this and I wanted to tell you. Oh, what is it? Triskaidekaphobia. And I went, what? She goes, triskaidekaphobia. And I go, triskaidekaphobia? Yeah, it's Fear of Friday the 13th. Triskaidekaphobia. And I went, triskaidekaphobia. And she went, triskaidekaphobia. And I went, thanks, Mom. And she went, yeah, and left. And then
But
I
I
went,
just want to point out
This is so surreal.
this is something Marilyn does all the time.
yeah.
All the time. She'll be like, oh, guess what I know? Guess what I learned? If you've ever seen the woman watch Jeopardy, she doesn't even look up from what she's doing and just rattles off all the answers before anybody else does.
Brian, I feel
It's
like
the
your
most
mom might be
amazing
autistic.
thing.
She's thought maybe it's not something. It's something that it has crossed her mind that it might be a thing. But it's sort of like when you're in your 70s, it's like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
who
no,
I am.
like who cares? Yeah, it's working
Yeah.
out for her. She knows a bunch of shit. Fuck yeah, awesome.
Yeah. But so I get up, I grab my breakfast, I put on the TV, and in big red letters on the news, triskaidekaphobia. And I'm like, okay. And then the news people start talking about it, and they're talking about it like Mom was. Triskaidekaphobia is for Friday the 13th. Whoa, triskaidekaphobia? How do you say that's a funny word? How do you say that? Triskaidekaphobia. How do you spell it? It's like popping up on the screen. And I'm like, okay.
How early did you get up for school? I mean,
early enough
Jesus.
to go to the news, watch the news.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
You and I had very different school experiences.
So
My mom was a teacher.
my mom was a teacher, so I get to get up early. So then I go to school, and then flash forward to the test experience. So somebody tells me there's a test, and I'm like, oh no. And I'm like having this dread. I'm like, I can't believe I did this. I literally think, am I dreaming? Because that's a dream. And no, my teacher, Mr. Bradshaw, comes up and he goes, before we start the test, I have a special question for you all. I don't know why, but I immediately raised my hand because I figured out what was going on.
Amazing.
And he goes, Brian, put your hand down. And I went, okay. And he goes, if you can answer this question, you don't have to take the test.
Fuck you,
And you
Brian.
get an A. And he literally goes, what is the fear of Friday? And I raised my hand. And I watched my teacher die inside and go, oh my God, he knows. So he literally goes, okay, Brian, come on up. Can you whisper it to me? Because I'm going to use this again later in the day. Don't tell anyone. I tell him, he's like, no, you don't have. I guess you don't have to take the test. And I was like, since I don't have to take the test, can I just go to the library? I don't care what you do.
Congratulations, Brian. You killed him a
You know
little
what
that
this is?
day.
I was like, this is when the GM has his like BBEG, and then like the player just does like I don't know, some dumb spell thing, and then it's like, and he's dead. You killed him.
I will never forget that morning because it just seemed so strange. It was like it was gonna happen. It was such a weird thing because she literally woke me up and it was the first thing she said to me. And then it was on the news and it just stuck in my head. So weird. Because I don't tend to just remember things like that unless they're just drilled in like flashcards.
Sounds an awful lot like Brian Luck to me.
Yeah, I think that's the original Brian Luck story. That's the original, like when Brian Luck came up as a concept and I start thinking back on stuff that happened. That's the original Brian Luck
That's
story.
a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a Brian Luck story.
Okay, Grim, you're up. Friday the 13th story.
I guess it's kind of
We are pausing
Sorry, we have
for
a- we have
child
a
sounds. Yes,
child.
it is okay. The when I edit the podcast, I cut silence, so it won't be that jarring.
Just take a little bit of bourbon, rub it on the gums, the kid will go to sleep.
Okay, so
works.
our
Yeah.
Friday the 13th is like a group story. So I guess I'll let Grim start it.
well, I was gonna say it's also kind of a double. Number one, our first date when we started dating was on a Friday the 13th. It was May 13th, 2022, and it was a Friday the 13th. And we purposefully picked this date. We wanted our first date to be on Friday the 13th because
Aww.
I am a lover of horror. And then when I got pregnant with our daughter, we did her baby shower on Friday the 13th in October because I was like, I have to do the spooky baby thing. And so, yeah, there's my double whammy Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I was there for that too. God, I remember now.
Yep. Our Friday the 13th stories are cute and adorable. No bad luck. Actually, like pretty great good luck. Like I honestly gotta say that date with Grim was like probably the best date I've ever been on. It was one of those dates where it's like we met at 7 and it was like 3 a.m. and we're like, we need to go home.
That's a hell of a date then, for sure.
I mean, hopefully you weren't
Yeah.
trespassing anywhere.
We were at a park.
Yeah, but I don't think we were supposed to be at that park.
Yeah, and
Most
it probably
parks
closed
close
like
at dark,
10,
but at least
we
out
were,
here they do.
Like, well, there was like this semi truck that was like parked outside, like the outside of the park. So, like, you know.
That's our Friday the 13th story.
Awesome.
I don't know who wants to go next. David, do you have Friday the 13th stories?
Nope.
Erica.
It's not that I don't have any specific stories that deal with it. I'm not a big horror fan. I mean, I guess the closest thing I could say is I've watched Friday the 13th on
Right,
Friday the 13th once.
It's like you're like I'm not superstitious and I don't like scary things, so you're like it's just a Friday.
Yeah, it's a day. It's a day that ends in Y.
I-
Just today, but also, you know, cheap tattoos.
Oh, yeah, I got mine. See?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah, you get cheap tattoos on Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
were.
you get- yeah, they're called like flash tattoos.
Oh, son of a bitch! I didn't even know that.
Yeah, a lot-
This is
yeah, a
the
lot of
one I
times it's
just
like-
got in September.
Yeah, a lot of times it's like what, like
It's so
normally
cute.
like $50, and then it's just like super like quick, like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This episode brought to you by dankinc.com.
I wish
Oh.
I could actually get the other side of my back done.
I still
All right.
need to get my first tattoo, but I know what it's gonna be. I know what my first tattoo is gonna be.
I
What?
got a trivia question for you guys.
Hold on,
Oh, sorry.
Stolas
Go ahead,
is
Stolas.
going
Sorry.
first.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
Go
I'll
ahead.
bite. Stolas, what's your tattoo going to be?
Sorry.
I want to get the pink opaque ghost tattoo on the back of my neck.
The
What's
what?
that?
So in the movie, I saw the TV glow. Within that movie, the main characters like this TV show called The Pink Opaque, and they have these like kind of pink ghost tattoos on the back of their neck, and it's supposed to represent them like being able to talk to each other through the psychic plane. So I hate to spoil the movie, but the movie is just a giant transgender allegory, basically about coming out and being who you are. And
Okay.
so them having the ghost is kind of like it's a big representation of like being trans and the trans journey.
Okay, neat.
That is cool. In the next year, as in I already have my tattoo artist working on it, I'm going to have a half sleeve down here, which will be for my kids. So it'll have like their constellations and like flowers and stuff. So it'll come from my shoulder all the way down. And then on this side, David, I think you'll think this is cool, is I'm going to have a half sleeve of Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
So I'm gonna have the Green Hobbit door and Gandalf's pipe, and then it's gonna have, all we can do is decide what to do with the time that is given to us.
Good line.
So I'm very excited about it. I'll have 2 half sleeves, and my mom is very not excited about it. She goes, "Why do you have to keep getting tattoos?" And I said, "Why not? I'm in my 40s. Who the fuck cares?"
Well,
Nobody
the more tattoos you have, the less desirable you are to cannibals. Apparently, they taste terrible.
Oh, there we go. I'm gonna use that next time.
It's a really good answer.
Because they're pretty and I like them. I got 2 this year and I'll probably get 3 next year. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
Brian, you were going to say something.
I was just going to ask a trivia question. I was going to
Go for it.
Does anybody know the longest you can go without a Friday the 13th?
Well, we only had 2 this year, so I don't know.
1,322 days.
14 months.
14 days.
But you can't have a year without one.
Okay.
Oh, So they have. So no matter what, every year there's going to be one.
Yeah, but it's calendar years, so you can have them 14 months apart.
Well, yeah.
Does that include leap years?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm sure there's some sort of mathematical equation to the number of days versus the weeks, days of the week or something like that, that it has to happen.
They always seem seldom, but I think it's just because I don't always pay attention.
Yeah, I blame the Catholic Church for the modern calendar. So,
I mean, it is their fault.
100%.
Well, I mean, it started with the Romans. It's kind of their fucking fault. But yeah, we went with that.
But the modern calendar of the certain days moving and things changing and everything, that was the Catholic's fault. Blame the Pope.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, the Gregorian calendar is the Pope's fault.
Well, there's
What is
Gregorian
it?
months, so I assume somebody's
What is
fault.
it? Pope Gregory
I think so. I don't, honestly, I'd
or
have,
Pope Gregor?
so I don't remember exactly who. I just know it's the church's fault.
I just picture
It's
Pope.
not the church's fault that daylight savings time still exists, and somebody gotta fix that shit.
I just pictured that there's a Pope Gregor who has a hunchback and serves a mad scientist.
Erica, I agree with you. And you know what? That's a thing you and I agree with Donald Trump on because he wants to get rid of
No,
daylight
you
savings
can't say that name. We're not saying that name.
No, I can.
No.
Grim, you have to police them because
Block-
you have to police her
right
because
twice a day.
if I mute Stolas, I mute you both. So you're in charge of policing her.
Oh, I've tried so hard to just ignore that whole facet of everything for so long now.
Yes. This is a safe place. This is a place away from all that stuff. And we have a lot of non-American listeners who were like, what in the hell are you guys talking about? So
Existential dread begins.
So for our non-listeners, part of the year,
non-listeners?
Our non-listeners, the people
Yeah.
that don't listen to the
the
show.
non-United States listeners is what I meant. Fuck you guys.
For the people who don't listen to the show, I have
No,
some
for our
words.
non-American listeners, because I do know we have quite a few of them. The United States does something really, really stupid, and we move our clocks up an hour and then back an hour.
We're not the only ones that do that.
Fucking
England does
year.
it too.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. It's some British
Do they?
summertime.
Yeah,
Oh.
they have a thing they do.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Other countries
Anyways,
do
it's
time
really
stuff.
dumb. My point
And,
is,
and then you go to Australia and they have half hours. Yeah. The two territories are so big they span multiple time zones. So they literally split it in half. So there's it'll be 1 o'clock here. It'll be like 10:30 there.
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
All countries are weird. What's the only normal country? Finland?
Define normal.
Finland?
Define normal.
Somewhere out there. Like Finland or Sweden or something.
You really like Finland.
Keach's idea was to do this episode, so I'm plugging for Finland.
The Nordic countries are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Aha.
They seem
Well,
pretty
it's like
cool.
they're all like the happiest countries in the world.
Yeah, they've got their shit figured out. What the
If I
fuck
could,
do
I
you
would
think?
totally move to Amsterdam. Oh, I want to
Anybody-
live in Amsterdam so
That's
bad.
not a Nordic country.
Nope.
I don't care.
No, it's Netherlands.
I don't care. I want to live there.
Yeah. If anybody listening, not in the U.S., do you guys do the Friday the 13th thing? Oh, I'm obviously Keach does because this is their idea, but I'm curious if there's like countries where it's just not a thing.
Well, it's like asking the old joke. They have the 4th of July in England.
That's funny.
Of course they do. It's a day of the year. They just don't
Yeah.
celebrate it.
But like, I think Brian's point is like, are people in other countries, like, are they as superstitious as we are about it? And I would say if you're in Europe, probably because of the whole Knights Templar thing. Like that's a
Yeah,
whole.
that's where Friday
that's a
the
whole
13th
thing.
came
Right,
from.
but I
Yeah,
bet like
France,
in
actually.
China they have their own like auspicious like bad luck day.
Yeah.
Yeah, different numerology and stuff, and colors that mean different things.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, to answer your question, Grim, because you did ask me a question. If I did have a story, I probably don't remember that it was on a Friday the 13th because I'm really bad with that stuff. I'm not really good at dates and I'm not really good at like names and stuff. Everything I remember is because I tell myself a story in my head and I visually see it. So I probably, but
I mean,
nothing
Erica
like-
watches music, so
I do. I watch music. It's true. So like, it's a little, I'm wired a little different. So yeah.
Okay, so Friday
I
the
do have-
13th. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, but I do have a really funny April Fool's story.
What's that one?
So, I was like 18 and I was living with my mom and my stepdad, Chuck, and I was going to college and I took all nighttime, like afternoon and nighttime classes because I was not a morning person and now I had the option of not getting up in the morning. And so I had been out all night the night before studying because we had a study group at Denny's at like in the middle of the night. And then I got home at like 2 or 3 in the morning or something. And anyways, my stepdad comes into my room and he goes, "Hey, Erica, what happened to your car?" And I went, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, what happened to the front of your car? Did you hit something?" And I was like, "What?" And I like freaked out. I'm still in like my jammies and I run outside and I like run around my car trying to figure out what the fuck he's talking about. And I turn and I just look at it and he's standing in the doorway of the house just laughing his ass off. And I was like, "Oh, fuck you." I was so upset about it. But apparently it was payback because when I was a kid and I lived there when I was a kid, I was like 8 years old and it was April Fool's Day and I woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning for like no reason whatsoever. I woke up, I realized that it was like 3 in the morning, everybody else was asleep and it was April Fool's Day. So I went and I woke up my brothers and my sister and I said, "Hey guys, Dad overslept. He's in the shower. He says that we have to get up and get ready for school." And
Oh
they
my
got
gosh.
yeah.
You're awful.
So they get up and they get dressed and they're all in the kitchen eating breakfast. And I'm just standing in my pajamas staring at them. And I just started laughing hysterically. And they were like, "What is so funny?" And I was like, "You didn't even look at the clock. You're stupid. April Fool." And so they all look at the clock and they collectively get up and start chasing me around the house, throwing things at me. And our dad and mom got up and they're like, "What the fuck is happening?" Apparently,
Gosh.
he held on to that for 9 fucking years. And waited to get me back.
The long con.
That is spite. That is spite. In
Yeah.
his soul.
Yep. So it's not a Friday the 13th story, but I only remember it because it was April Fool's Day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry. I'm keeping tabs in my head of things my kids do, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get you for that. I'm gonna get you.
You
for that.
gave me a really great idea for an April Fool's prank, and you're welcome to steal this, Erica, because you could do that to someone where you could like, "What's up with your car?" And they come out and they look, and then when they turn around to look at you, just hit them in the face with a pie. That's like the
Extreme, but
perfect,
okay.
it's like the perfect moment to
Oh my
do
God.
that.
That's such a good setup.
Of something even better where it's like, yeah, something happens to your car, but turns out I just got you a better car.
Oh yeah, I was kind of thinking
I
that's
think
what was
both
going to
of them.
happen.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I know Erica's stepdad, and that wouldn't have happened.
That would not have happened.
No, more likely the joke.
Yes. So, not a Friday the 13th story, which I know is what we're talking about, but I do remember that because I was like, fucking 9 years. You held on to that joke for 9 fucking years to get me back. And I was a goddamn kid. I just thought it was hilarious.
That's a great story. Thank
That
you
is
for
quite
sharing a
funny.
story about him because
No.
it's going to make me emotional because he's been gone a while. I had a dog named after him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was a great dude. He
Yeah,
was a great dude.
he's a good guy.
So Friday the 13th is all about luck and bad luck. What are your guys' opinions about luck and all that?
It's not real.
If it weren't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any at all.
So I believe there's different types of luck. Brian just happens to create this karma around him to where he has what we call Brian luck and all these crazy fucking wonderful things happen to him. My friend Marcus is the same way. He also has like crazy wonderful things happen to him all the time. I have what I call strategic luck because it seems to happen that every time something really bad happens, something good happens to counteract it. As an example, I got into a car accident. It wasn't my fault. Somebody hit me, right? And then I was like, oh man, they're gonna they're gonna total my car out, and I'm gonna have to buy a new car, and blah 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 blah. And it happened that like that week is when, because of like the shortage of chips or something like that happened, the price of used cars went up. And so they did not total my car out by $500 because the price of used cars revalued themselves instead of being devalued. So I have stuff like that happen to where like something bad happens, but then something good counteracts.
Okay, so your story kind of reminds me of my experience with luck. Okay.
Stolas, can I interrupt real quick? Because I want to respond to Erica.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
You just describe looking on the bright side.
Yeah, but how would a week before, if it had happened a week before, Brian, they would have totaled out my car and I would have had to actually have a car payment.
You took a bad thing and you were like, well, this is how it worked out good, so I'm reframing it.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that's how things work out. Something bad happens and then something good happens. It always seems to work out that way.
Yeah, see, I subscribe to O'Doul's law. You've heard of Murphy's law, right? Everything that can possibly go wrong will. Well, O'Doyle's law was that Murphy was an optimist.
Thank you, Dave.
I do not intend to shut you down completely. I just have a lot of trouble believing that luck is real.
Sure,
But
Brian. Keep to whatever lets you sleep at night.
there is, and
How
I
can
will.
you think that luck isn't real? No, stop.
Brian, you are the luckiest fuck I know.
I
No,
will
that's-
fully
okay,
admit that
put
there
that
is
to the
empirical evidence that some crazy shit happens, but it's not like all the time, and it's not like I have some kind of magical power that I can go gambling and win every time. It's just sometimes
I mean,
crazy stuff happens.
if I truly thought about it, I'd just start calling you Domino
But
because
it's not all good. Like Erica's leaving out when I called her a few weeks ago and was like, I need to talk to somebody because a fireball just exploded right next to my car while I was driving home.
And were you killed? No.
No.
Were you injured?
No.
Anybody else that would have been driving by a car on fire on the side of the road and it exploded would have had their window down or like some fucking random shit and they would have been injured and you were just like,
whoa, that
oh,
happened.
that scared the shit out of me.
I felt the wave of heat go through the window.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if it was anybody else, they probably would have been like injured or something.
Especially had they slowed down to look.
I had just looked when it happened. I was like, whoa. And I was so panicky on the way home because I was like, that was
You
so
were.
crazy. That was so
Yeah.
crazy. There's a little bit of there was a little bit of a trigger moment though, because I survived a gas station exploding when I was in my 20s. And I at the time it was like this wasn't something that I thought was traumatic. And I think having the
you
car
keep trying to
explode-
tell me how you're not lucky as fuck. And you keep citing things that indicate that you're lucky
the
as
gas
fuck.
station exploding thing was dumb luck because like I literally ran up to it to see it.
So you used two words to describe that, and one of them was luck.
I fully admit that there is empirical evidence. I'm firmly in denial.
Okay. Earth's flat too, right?
Stolas,
You
go ahead.
believe in karma, Brian, don't you?
No.
You don't believe if you put
No,
good out there, you
I
get good
think
back?
bad things happen to good people all the time.
I didn't say that bad things don't happen to good people. I said that if you put good things out there, good things will come back to you. Not that nothing bad ever happens to you.
No, I don't. I don't believe in like cosmic balance or anything like that.
For somebody that always believes in being nice and kind to people, really?
As I said,
Isn't
whatever,
it better
whatever lets
when-
them sleep at night.
Isn't it better to be nice and kind to people when you don't get anything out of it?
Well, yeah, just because you believe that there's a cosmic balance thing doesn't mean that's why you're doing it. Now you're talking about intention.
There's a whole karmic paradox thing where people, there's people who get stuck in the karma loop where they're just trying to put good out in the world and it ends up just becoming selfish. That's a thing that happens. It's a phenomenon.
That's a thing that happens to everybody that ever does anything good. That's why are people good to other people? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
scared to go to hell. Like, I mean, there's lots of reasons people do it, and it's not always altruistic.
Thank you, Keisha, for bringing up this topic because I knew this was going to happen. It's so great to get told that I'm wrong. Luck's not real.
Luck is absolutely real.
There's empirical evidence. Something is going on. I refuse to believe that it's luck. It definitely is not a coincidence because crazy stuff happens. I don't want to take the spotlight completely though, and I did cut off Stolas, so Stolas, go ahead.
So my like whole thing about like my story is similar to yours, Erica, of not so much that I believe in luck, but I used to have this thing and it was like a pathological thing. This thought in my head that like for every like good event, a bad event would balance kind of thing. Or and for every bad event, a good event would balance it.
Ah, the Bundy
Um,
curse.
but well, that's what Erica was just talking about, is that every time a bad thing happens, a good thing happens in return. So that's kind of my thing too. But like, and I and
Not
I
exactly what I was saying, but I'll go with you on it.
well, I basically thought that like everything was balanced. So like for every bad thing that happened, a good thing would happen. For every good thing, a bad thing, blah blah blah. And this was before I was on medication, by the way. So I was like, okay, this is what I would do. If I knew an important day was coming up, like a job interview or a date or I don't know, a day at work I needed to whatever. If there was an important day coming up that I needed that day to go well, I would sabotage my life before leading up to that day to try to tip the scales in a way that would like make that day good.
Would it not be easier to have just done nice, good things for everybody so that good things would happen?
That's not how my brain thought of it. My brain thought of it if I needed a bad thing to happen for a good day to occur. It's not
I
logical. I'm on meds now because of this.
Yeah, I wanted to say, Stolas, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That sounds awful. I'm glad you got treated because that sounds like something probably not worth just throwing around on the podcast, but it sounds like you went through something. I mean,
I'm
feel
okay.
free
It was
to.
just-
I'm not going to do it for you, but that,
No. It was just like that was like a that's like my closest experience to like talk about luck.
yeah, thanks for sharing that though. That sounds like a debilitating compulsion.
Right. And I'm not trying to
Right.
And I'm not trying to imply that what Erica thinks is like comparable. They're not at all. I was just like, oh, like that sounds sort of almost similar, but like obviously my brain just
Yeah,
thinks
you
like
had
a whole
a
crazy level.
Yeah.
you had a compulsion. Erica looks on the bright side.
I love you, Brian.
I'm
you-
teasing, I'm teasing, I'm teasing.
Brian,
I mean,
you seem to
Eric
think
Idle
I'm
said
far
always
more
look on the bright side of
optimistic
life.
than I truly am.
I'm teasing.
I think people confuse optimism with amount of fucks given. And here's what I mean by that. You can dwell on something bad, but then I'm giving that bad thing all my fucks. And I don't have a lot of fucks at this age to be giving.
Gaze upon the field where I grow thine fucks and see that it is barren.
Exactly. So Brian's like, oh, Erica's optimistic, bright side, blah, 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 blah. No, it's just because it's I would rather give my fucks to things that make
your
me
kids.
happy and that are good.
My kids get all
Then-
my kids get all of them.
Yeah, I mean, my kids get a majority of my fucks. But my point is it's not that I'm optimistic. It's just that like, well, I can give my fucks to this thing, or I can give my fucks to that
Oh, I
thing.
forgot I had one of those. So
Yeah.
at Red Fair last year, someone in one of my groups made these little laser cutout wood pieces that just said the word fuck, and he had a bag of them, and he was going around giving people fucks.
Oh, that's
I
good.
would love that.
Yeah, it was great.
I would keep a bag of fucks and just hand them to people.
I've got one in my pocket of my jerkin in the other room.
That is fantastic.
Erica was talking. I was giving her a hard time about looking on the bright side, but it reminds me of a story about reframing your paradigm. There's that whole story about the guy who was letting his kids run around on the train, and it turned out that his wife just died and he couldn't control them. And once everyone on the train figured out what was going on, they started treating him differently and they weren't annoyed anymore. So, Erica and I, a mutual friend, the same one we talked about earlier, who used to wear all black. Now, at Erica's wedding, I don't know if I've told you this story, Erica. Heather and I were driving in his car, and we were riding in his car, and he was driving, and he road raged on some like bad, and I just smart aleckly said, "Well, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're going through. I mean, they flipped you off and they road rage. They could be going through something. They could have like cancer or something." And he goes, "Well, after what they just did, they damn well better, and I hope they die painfully."
Holy shit.
And
Oh.
then he said, "That's what you get, Brian, for pulling that reframing your paradigm bullshit on me."
That's good.
Okay. I have a
That's good.
similar
Sounds like
story.
him. Oh my God, that's so
Okay,
funny.
no, I have a similar story. The other night, Grim and I were walking to a Walmart, and we were in like the little like walk area thing, and there was this lady coming through, and she was like not stopping, and I was like, "You're about to hit us," and I was like, "Man, I should have just stopped and just taught her some patience." And I looked at her, and I noticed there was like this old lady, and I was like, you'd expect an old broad to understand like the concept of patience, and then I looked at Grim, and I'm like, "Oh, I wonder if it's because she's old and she knows her time's ending that she's trying to get everywhere quickly. that she's all of a sudden got to be in a hurry because she's realizing she's running out of time."
Well, she has to get all the cooking spices before Hansel and Gretel escape the oven.
David's like, "My friends are bad people."
You learn so much about your friends
No,
when you podcast with them.
Eric is groaning because I've made that same joke about her mom. I think Eric has made that same joke about her mom too.
Do you need to watch Dimension 20?
Not religiously.
I'm a little behind on Misfits and Magic season 2, but I do.
We were watching the time quadrangle thing, and they have a cameo of Hansel and Gretel in the beginning.
I didn't watch all the series, so that time quangle thing is really confusing.
I haven't watched any of them, and I've been enjoying it. I think
For
all
people
the
who
random
don't know,
characters-
we're talking about a series on Dropout TV, where it's like a live play D&D, and they have done many campaigns.
Don't you have to pay to have access to that?
Yeah, it's like $5 a month or something like that. But yeah, you do.
Those add up.
They do.
Well, here's the thing about Dropout, guys. If you can't afford it and you have a friend who can, you could totally share your password, because Dropout's official policy is you should share your password with your friends because it's the nice thing to do.
Oh yeah, if you want a password. I don't know if I can share mine because I use my Google account.
Hey, I have access.
I don't use that Google account.
No, lying sack of bastard. All right, I see how it is. I mean, no, I don't have Brian's Google login information. Why would I?
I mean, technically, everyone here has had it shared with them at least once at some point.
That is true. That is true.
And
You want to
if
hear
you're
something
concerned,
really funny?
yes.
Well, Brian, you know this. Brian and I have OG Google accounts from when you had to be invited to have.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. I give my Google address to people and they're like, "There's no numbers." And I went, "Nah."
Oh, does anyone else here have an OG Google account? Like, did you had to be invited to be on it?
No.
I do.
Yeah.
That's where I got my Bigham's address.
Stolas isn't old.
I have an OG Blue Sky account that you had to get invited to have, and I have the very first Stolas at Blue Sky. Like no one else. I have the first. Even the official like Bibsy Pop like thing couldn't get Stolas because I had already yoinked it.
We have a Nerd Podcast Radio Blue Sky account, but I've been procrastinating and never set it
All
up.
right, am I just old? What the fuck is Blue Sky?
It's the Twitter replacement.
It's a new Twitter.
Yeah, it's like slightly better Twitter.
Oh, okay.
It's Twitter without the hate.
Yes.
Okay.
It's censored. It's like how Twitter used to be.
I don't use Twitter,
Jesse
so
Singal. They didn't ban Jesse Singal, and that's annoying.
I don't use Twitter, so I honestly don't care.
Yeah.
I don't use social media either, David.
Except for Discord.
That's not social media. That's a chat room.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
It's like Ventrilo, but we don't have to pay for it.
It's like IRC.
Yeah.
Oh my God, David, I remember using Vent. Holy shit.
Yeah.
No, I've been playing WoW for coming up on like 16 years or something like that.
You
So
would use it so much in EVE Online.
the event and then Mumble and then
Yes.
So we got to wrap up before we do bonus episode. So I want to do a quick lightning round and go just like a couple of sentences on
but
a
there's no
lucky,
clouds here. It's not going to lightning anywhere.
a lucky thing that happened to you or an unlucky thing that happened to you. Fun only. I'm not going to go around the table though because it's a lot of pressure to just say this. So anyone want to throw one out there?
I won like $300 in a casino to go out and find out my car was dead.
Wow, that proves Erica's point. That changed my mind.
I win.
Well, no, because it cost more than the $300 I won to fix the car.
That sucks.
So yeah, remember when I said if it weren't for bad luck, I'd have none at all? Guess what?
You know what my favorite bad luck story of yours is, though, is getting stuck on the top of the highway and being on the news.
Yeah, well, my car broke down on the Vincent Thomas Bridge and traffic was backed up for miles, and I got mentioned on the fucking news for blocking traffic. That was fun.
Anybody else?
I think my worst luck thing was probably the time I had to be escorted out of our house by FBI agent.
Wait, what?
Yeah, when I was a kid in this like area we were living in, there was this guy in our like neighborhood who was making bombs out of his house, and so the FBI got involved, and I somehow got into the neighborhood without anyone noticing while everyone else was evacuated. So my parents were like, "Oh my gosh, where's my son?" Ah! And like I was the only one left in there, and they like did not know where the bombs were. So it was like a really like weird thing where they're like, "We don't think there's bombs on your house, but we don't know." And so they go to get me, and I'm just like a kid, so like I don't know what the fuck's going on. I look outside and I just see these like police agents, and I'm like, I go to the door. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was playing video games. I'll go do my homework right now.
That's an amazing story.
That is.
We're going to continue this in the bonus episode.
Well, I had one.
You were too slow.
Fuck you. So, anyways, it's the only time I ever won anything was in high school. It was when the X-Files movie was about to be released, and I was listening to the radio at night, and it was like 2:00 in the morning, and I just happened to wake up, and they were like, "The 10th caller wins the CD of the new soundtrack," and I think it was like 14 or something. And I called in and they're like, "You won." I was like, "Yay." It's the only fucking time I've ever won anything my entire fucking life. That's it.
Aw.
I've never won a raffle or any of that shit.
Aw.
Don't feel too bad. Don't feel too bad. Me neither.
Yeah.
I will tell stories on the bonus episode. I feel bad.
Why?
Because I always win the raffle.
I know you always win a raffle.
But I don't believe in
Brian.
luck. Lying sack of shit.
This has been Nerd Podcast Radio. This is your lovely lying sack of shit. Super Speaking Brian, joined by Courtesy Smurferica, David the
Bye.
and Stolas.
Bye.
And
Bye.
thank you, Graham.
Thanks, Grymm. You're sticking around for the bonus episode, right?
Yeah.
Yay.
Stay nerdy, stay informed, stay awesome.
Don't
Stay
lie like
awesome.
Brian does.
Dirty, lying, stinking sack of...
Thanks for listening to our nerd show. Podcast Radio.